Welcome to the channel. We're your hosts. My name is Quentin Horton,
And I'm Aaron Curry.
and this is
It's Secrets to Sexy.
Welcome to Secrets to Sexy, where transformation starts on the inside and shows up on the outside. Here's your guest, GQ.
AC, what's up, guys?
All right. So what we got for today?
Today we're gonna shake up the table a bit because we're not talking about meal plans, gym reps. We're talking about that deeper muscle that really builds true sex appeal. And what is that?
Discipline.
Discipline.
Straight up.
So discipline is the new sexy. Restraint, confidence, masculine energy, the kind that doesn't have to prove anything, but it embodies everything. And I saw this clip of this guy talking to someone, and he was trying to trip him up, and he was like, so masculine energy, so you're saying you have to be violent in order to be masculine? And he was like, no, I'm saying that it's the capacity to have violence in you, like to be dangerous, but to have restraint. Like martial arts, like they're taught like to be able to whoop ass, but they don't do it because they show restraint. That is sexy. That's discipline. That's showing restraint, you know? So yeah, I think this is gonna be a cool episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you guys are tired of getting mediocre results, surface level progress, then stick right here. Let's go deeper into discipline.
Discipline, yeah, that is the theme. And a lot of people want freedom, but they're actually enslaved, right? So it's like you're enslaved to your appetite because you can't control it. You're enslaved to lack of sleep because you want to scroll online and on Instagram and you want to watch your favorite show. You're enslaved to social media and all of these exterior things that really don't have any credence on your common goals, right? Specifically, if they're fitness goals. So yeah, if you want to be free totally, you have to have discipline to cut off the things that are distracting you from where you need to get to.
That's real.
You know?
And to piggyback off of that, there's no way to have freedom if you're not living in your purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So freedom and purpose, just the fact that you're living in your purpose creates boundaries, right? Because if you're trying to get to a certain point in your life, it's going to require you to cut off other things. Sometimes people literally want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
you know,
true,
that
right.
saying is not just a saying for no reason. You know, when you talk about fitness, you can't have your cake and eat it too and expect to be fit. You have to cut off certain things to get there, or you have to set some boundaries. Same thing with your purpose. If you have purpose, it's going to require you to make certain sacrifices. In fact, the word decision comes from the Latin root word to cut off. So when you make a decision, you automatically cut off other things that are not in, I would say, in alignment with your purpose. So freedom is an illusion in the sense of it can easily get you distracted. It can easily have you chasing things and trying to do whatever you want that's not necessarily in alignment with what you really want. But when you're truly showing restraint and making a decision to stick within your purpose, you'll notice that you'll have freedom, but what inside of your purpose is it's the freedom to do what you want to do that's in alignment with what you really want.
My boy over here, etymology major, you didn't tell me Latin root words. You know the word discipline actually means. Like,
Just want to hit you with that because,
where
like,
is this
you
coming
know.
from? I love it though. I love it.
All right, so let's talk about masculine energy. You know, traditional, verbiage and connotations around masculine energy has been loud, dominating, strong. But the truth is that the real essence of masculine energy is rooted, grounded, decisive. And what I mean by that is you make a choice based on the outcome that you want. You don't become reactive. You don't get loud and domineering when it's not necessary in a given standpoint. It's really just the essence of taking control of your destiny based on what you really want. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I agree because it's not about taking control. It's more so about taking command.
Yeah.
Right? And I think when you take command, it's a different perspective because you can become in touch with your feminine side. Like everybody has masculine and feminine energy. And like we're taught as kids, you can't cry, you can't do this. And if you cry, you're weak. And it's like, no, it's not weakness. It's actually strength to show your vulnerability and to be raw and to be authentic to who you are. So for me, Yeah, it's never been about control. Control doesn't make me feel like more of a man. It actually makes you feel like less of a man, like when you're really in touch with who you are. So, no, I think that masculine energy has become toxic, as everyone wants to call it, toxic masculinity. It's become toxic because we have to rewire our brains into like figuring out what is real masculinity at its core. Like, what is it supposed to be? Not what is it now and what has it been. Like, what is supposed to be masculine? Providing, taking care of your woman and all these things, but we have to redefine it so that people can understand why they're doing the things they're doing.
Absolutely.
Men, I should say, or understand why they're doing the things they're doing. So,
Yeah. I mean, even outside of men, men and women have masculine energy, right? But I do think that part of being intelligent and emotionally intelligent is knowing when to turn masculine energy on and off. And I think sometimes men, don't know when to turn it off in certain situations.
Yeah, sure.
And stuff, because feminine energy is more collaborative, empathetic, compassionate. And masculine energy, generally speaking, it's more duty-driven. It's about getting the job done, having the mission ahead. And I think there's a higher level of higher intelligence masculine, which is like you sit back and you observe what is the best course of action, and you kind of judge it off of that. So I think we're talking more so that, because I think that is the essence of discipline. It's looking at your obstacles, looking at things that are in your way, and saying what is the best course of action to make sure I still get the outcome that I want.
Exactly.
So I think both sides, both feminine energy, both women and men, I would say, need that level of masculinity. I think it becomes toxic when the controlling aspect of masculinity, when you're not commanding, you think you are, but you're more so trying to control a situation in a sort of an abusive fashion.
Yeah.
I think that's what this generation is kind of headed more towards.
Absolutely.
Like everybody's fighting for control.
Yeah.
What's your outlook on that? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think ultimately we're meant to be leaders. It's about leadership. It's not really about control at all. It's about leading with intention and logic and all of the things that we possess naturally. Like, we're supposed to tap into those gifts, and then it's supposed to trickle down to our women and our children and things of that nature. So, like, you have to be a good leader at the end of the day, and that's a character that men. I feel like we inherently have that, but we've lost sight of what that really looks like. And what a lot of men think that's supposed to look like is control. And it's not about control. That's the ugly version of masculinity, the toxic version of masculinity. Leading with intention and love and care is where we should be aspiring to get to. But I think it's been backwards for quite some time now.
And I'll piggyback on that too. Leading by example. One principle that I've learned probably for the past 5 years is, if I'm in a relationship or even a friendship, I never really ask something from a friend or a romantic partner that I'm not already giving. Be sure before you request or try to demand certain things from people that you check your bank account, you make sure you put those deposits in, because sometimes when you try to lead, you try to direct them in a certain direction, and they're like, well, I don't really want to do that because you don't do that for me. So I try my best to lead by example so that when I request these things, I'm really asking for reciprocity versus asking them to overextend. If that makes sense. So, I think that's a huge part of within a relationship aspect. But also masculine energy, getting back to the discipline aspect, I would say is the follow through. Like actually, whatever it is you say you're going to do, getting it done in a methodical, responsible way. So I think that, in terms of masculinity, it works very well when it comes to fitness, relationship maintenance, because masculine energy is not as emotionally dependent as feminine energy. Feminine energy is more, you do what feels right, what feels good at the time.
Absolutely.
Masculine energy is about getting it done. Feelings aside, these things have to get done. And I think you have to be able to toggle between the two, because it's not all about living life, getting things done when it may not feel right either, right? But there are certain moments in time where you have a responsibility, i.e. taking care of your baby at 2 a.m. in the morning. And it doesn't matter how you feel at that point in time. It doesn't matter if you're tired. You have to tap into that masculine energy and get it done anyway.
I think neither one of them are right or wrong. It's just sometimes one or the other is more right in the situation or more wrong in a situation that might need to be handled more delicately or whatever. That's why we both have the capacity to have masculine and feminine energy, so that when a situation that is different than what you want to react to in a masculine way comes about, you're like, okay, let me sit back and use my God-given logic, and okay, I need to give a little more feminine energy or a little more love to this situation, or a little more patience to this situation, or empathy or whatever.
Yeah, so I had to unlearn like the old masculinity, what we were taught growing up. You kind of have to do a good job of unlearning what that looks like on both sides, for men and women, what masculinity look like. And you have to realize that, you know, masculinity is also protective. It's not performative. Like, you're not leading with pressure or with threats. You're leading with presence. You're leading by, like I said earlier, by example. You're showing, you know, whether it's in the workplace or in a relationship or in the gym, you're showing this is what, you know, leadership looks like. This is the standard. I'm going to show you first, and then I'm going to pull you with me. It's inspirational. It's not, you're not a tyrant. You're not like, you better do this all right. I think a lot of, in this day and age, is very much like, you know, a lot of people that are demanding certain things that they haven't earned that right to demand in that type of fashion, and it's done with a negative energy. Yeah.
I mean, that's why discipline is so powerful, because when you actually adhere to the discipline that you've learned, it allows you to represent yourself in a better light. You know what I mean? Because sometimes most humans in general are just very reactive.
Yeah.
And if you have the discipline to be non-reactive in a situation that warrants reaction, you can do it the right way. And I know you were talking about reciprocity earlier, like you won't do something or you won't ask something of someone that you wouldn't do for them or aren't already doing for them. And that's even a disciplinary mindset, like knowing, okay, I don't deserve the reciprocity because I'm not even deserving of it.
Right,
and so it's like discipline is just something that should be a core, like, focal point in anything that you're doing in life, and specifically in any relationship, I'd say. Yeah. So for every action, there's a reaction, and you need to have the discipline will allow you to say, okay, I deserve that. You know, instead of reacting to the reaction, it's like, no, you said something stupid, so she said that back to you, stupid. And your mentality is to say, okay, I get why that happened. I get why this conversation is going the way it's going. And when you have discipline, it's going to allow you the time to really absorb what's happening or absorb what's being said, or really like download the things that are going on, so that you can methodically, handle them the right way.
Right.
In a masculine way, but a non-toxic masculine way. Right. It's like, and I think that, you know, because men, you know, not all men, but a lot of us are very logic driven. When we respond with logic, and that logic is met with resistance because women respond with emotion. Yeah. So it's like having the discipline to know, okay, I know how this is going to be received more than likely, so let me allow her to receive it this way, and, you know, handle the conversation the way it needs to be handled, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, so one thing I had to learn when it comes to discipline, in all aspects, discipline is a quality that protects every relationship. It's something that allows it to be sustainable. So it's kind of like the oxygen to any relationship, whether it's your relationship with fitness, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your romantic partner, your relationship with your job. If the discipline is not there, if you stop showing up to work on time, we know if it was a job, what would happen.
Yes, they did. They must have cut me.
But for some reason, when it comes to relationships, sometimes
doesn't translate.
We get in relationships, and then, you know, it's like, oh, I don't have to do these things anymore. Nothing's gonna happen to me because she loves me. It's like, no, life will kind of show you that there is a standard for everything, and the standard is always discipline if you want, you know, long sustainability.
Absolutely.
So I definitely think that, you know, discipline is the new sexy, because it's something that helps everything thrive long term. Anything can last short term because of a spark. Yeah. Because y'all both like golfing or something like that. But when it gets down to it, in order to cultivate that relationship, you need to see that person show up consistently.
Absolutely.
For you, and vice versa, right? Consistency can only happen through discipline. And so,
I mean, I was in sales for almost 2 decades. Since I was 10 years old. I'm only 30, guys. But every leader I had until I like transcended and went into leadership myself, they would always comment on my physique.
Yeah.
And it was because they knew what that correlated to. It correlated to me being disciplined. Because if I had to be at the job at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., they're like, hold up, you worked out this morning?
Yeah.
What time did you wake up? And it's like 4.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? So you woke up at 4, you worked out at 4:35, and you just got here? Then they're like, oh, wow, this is a disciplined individual. And that discipline, he's cut from a different cloth. And we know if he's willing to do that, he's going to give his all to the job.
Yeah.
It's really simple, right? It's like if you're disciplined enough to do certain things, people see that and it's admirable. You're like, oh, he's going to be a solid team player because he gets it. Everywhere I've gone, when they see the physique or they see the discipline to the gym, they're like, that's crazy. That's wild. How do you do that? Mm-hmm. And then they start picking my brain because they're like, how do you? And it's like I just do it. It's discipline. I'm disciplined. I played football for years, and I'm used to waking up at that time. And like, why would I stop? Like, it feels good. But I do it, so I just keep doing it. I
will say you're one of a kind because there's a lot of athletes that are exathletes that do not have the discipline beyond a structured, a coach telling you to show up, a trainer showing you to show up. Like to have that self-discipline in you where it's like, I kept that going on my own. I didn't need that structure anymore is a rare find. I would say, if I had to say athletically, probably only 20 to 30% of ex-athletes keep it going.
Keep it going. I would agree with that.
The rest of them, they like, when I had structure, I was able to do it, but now I can't do it.
And to be fair, I don't have some of the things that distract from that discipline. I don't have any kids. I don't have a wife. Like, to be fair, right? Yeah. Like, I feel like I know that I would still figure out a way to make it happen when those things, and if God allows those things to happen in the future, I'm still gonna do the same thing. Right. My baby gonna be on the golf course with me. My baby gonna be at the gym with me. But it's like, I'm talking about actual baby, not like my baby, my girl. I'm talking about my baby.
Shit,
or both my babies. Why not? Right. But no, I know I'll figure it out because that's how disciplined I am, and that's why discipline is sexy. And discipline is the ability to navigate a circumstance or whatever's happening in life and still do the things that you're supposed to do, despite whatever else is going on, despite death, despite sickness, despite injury, despite conflict in your marriage or your relationship, despite conflict with your kids. Discipline is going to allow you to say, okay, I still have to deal with that over there, but I have to take care of me first, because if I don't take care of me first, I can't take care of the situation anyway.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself. So, yeah, I mean, discipline is, it's not a word that's used enough. I really don't even hear it often. Like, really the only time you hear discipline used is like you're disciplining a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, you should apply discipline to every aspect of your life, to your relationships, to your kids, to the gym, to conversations, and a lot of other things. So, yeah.
Speaking of the gym, discipline with fitness.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a recurring theme we talk about all the time, but it's something that for me, it's never going to waver because I know what the gym has done for my life. I know what fitness has done for me. So it's like, what's a good example? It's like if you had a time machine and you knew smoking that first cigarette was going to addict you, and then you're going to have cancer 20 years from now and you're going to die at 55 instead of living life to 95.
Yeah.
Like, I know what can happen if I don't stick to it. So I'm just not gonna do it. Like, the discipline of fitness has given me like a pretend time machine to know, like, I'm adding time to my life.
Yes.
So like, I don't want
10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I don't want to waver from that. Like, people are dropping like flies out here, and it's sad. And I want to be not only like a standard for the people close to me, but I want to be. This sounds cliche, but like a beacon of hope.
As a population on this planet have been looking for a savior.
People look at me like, when I cut the beard off, people are like, are you like 26?
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
Easy.
It's like, and I'm almost 40 years old. So I want people to understand, like, this isn't just genetics.
Yeah.
It is discipline.
Lifestyle habits.
It's lifestyle habits that are hard to sustain, especially when you live in a place like LA where you have access to everything. Yeah. I could go out every night of the week if I wanted. I could be drinking alcohol every night of the week if I wanted. I could be up to 2-3 a.m. No, I'm disciplined and I'm in bed at 9:30.
That's right.
I'm asleep by 10:30 so that I can wake up at 4 a.m. People are like, how do you wake up at 4? Well, I go to bed early enough to wake up at 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going out till 2 and waking up at 4. I'm disciplined enough to cut off the distractions and cut off the things that won't allow me to stay the course.
Absolutely. And it's always discipline versus distraction. Like if you look at every part of your life, from the moments you decide to scroll on funny memes and stuff like that, for those split milliseconds or for those 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 30 minutes, you're actually distracted from what your actual purpose is. And I think sometimes we mislabel that as like, oh, it's just entertainment. And granted, it is. It can be both at the same time. It's entertainment and you're distracted at the same time. So the more you live life, I learned that, you know, it's always this constant battle between discipline and distraction. And sometimes distraction feels better. You know, discipline doesn't always feel good, but it's always right for your destiny. It's always right for you reaching your purpose. So it's almost like the vegetables versus dessert. It's like, yeah, you can go out all night and party. It might be fun in the moment, but when you keep eating desserts back and forth, you're going to get a tummy ache and you're going to be wondering why in real life you're not making progress, why you're just not getting where you want to go. So to your point, you know, when you double down on discipline, your cup is half full. When you double down on distraction, your cup is half empty.
I mean, and from my perspective, I think that distraction is instant gratification, and discipline is the long-term win, right? It's like it's not gonna show. You're not gonna see the reward from it immediately, but ultimately it will show up. It's like day trading versus holding on to long-term stocks. Like,
right.
you know, knowing that Apple is gonna become Apple. You know, knowing that what's old boy's company, the Amazon is gonna become Amazon. And just waiting for the win. But most people don't have the discipline to wait for the win. If it doesn't happen today or next week or next month, you're like, I'm over it. Especially in fitness, right? We see it all the time. You see it all the time. It's like if a client doesn't get the body they want in 2 months, it's like, do you understand I've been working out for the last 20 years?
Right.
To look the way I look? You know, do they understand that you run 5 miles in the heat? Uphill, I said, I don't even do that. He does that. You know what I mean? I was home in Ohio, so I was running, but no, he'll do it in the rain. That's discipline, and people don't see the work that it takes to sustain the way we look. You know, there's levels to this, and there's people that look better than me, and people that look better than you.
Barely,
But it's like, but we still have to put in a lot of work to sustain it, and people don't see that, and that's the discipline part where it's like. Discipline is behind the scenes. It's like the director of a movie. They don't get a lot of the accolades and awards, or you know the DPs and whatnot. The actors get all that, but it's like we're the directors. In the fitness world, it's like we're doing the work behind the scenes so that what you see is the actual movie.
I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of reason why people don't think that discipline is sexy is because a lot of the components of discipline doesn't give you the immediate gratification. It doesn't give you the validation. It's not showy. It's not sparkly all the time. Sometimes it might just involve you sitting at home and looking at hours and hours of film, if you're an athlete, for example, of another team and how they play. You know, it's very tedious, boring work if you're truly, truly disciplined, because you're trying to get something down to a science. Same thing with fitness. It wasn't just me popping up at the gym and just working out. It was me looking at hours of videos from another guy that was an expert that said how you should eat, how, you know, working out, hypertrophy, and, you know, different things, drop sets, supersets, and really learning the science of it so I can really do this the way I want to do it, and being okay with the fact that, I might spend an hour looking at this and it's not super exciting, but it's super informative. So I think that once you fall out of love with getting that immediate gratification and that validation, then you can actually fall in love with discipline. And the second thing I would say is, there's a saying, easy decisions, hard life. Hard decisions, easy life. So you really get a chance to choose if you want to like play into your vices or play into more discipline. One is going to be more harder decisions, because discipline is harder. But you're setting yourself up, I would say, for a very easy life. Or you can play into your vices because it feels great. And then you'd be setting yourself up for a hard life, whether it's bad health, you know, poor finances, lack of success, failed relationships, whatever it is, you are setting yourself up for a harder life. So I think discipline is it's the new sexy. When you have that vision and you know what you want, and you don't need all the validation. You don't need to be like the most flat. It's like, no, I'm doing my thing and I know where I'm going.
Yep.
That's where it's at.
Absolutely. And that's why I love golf so much, speaking of discipline, is because you have to be disciplined to become good at golf. It is the
absolutely.
hardest sport I've ever played. And I played football, basketball, ran track, long jump, 4x1, 4x4, 400, everything, boxing. Like boxing is a very difficult sport, but there's nothing that tests your mental for 4.5 hours and requires consistency and not breaking one single step more than golf. Like golf and the parallels in life, like the patience it's taught me and the discipline it's ingrained in me, like for everyday things, is unmatched because it's the hardest sport and you will never master it. And I think that's a good like segue to talking about discipline again, is because you can't really master discipline. It just grows.
It's a
with
rabbit
it.
hole
It's a rabbit hole.
that goes on and on.
That's what golf is. It's a void that you will never fill.
Right.
Like Tiger Woods even said, like all the top golfers are like, I can't master it. Like I hit, the best shot that I can hit, but it's never going to be perfect.
Right.
And that's how life is. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the right time to start going to the gym. It's never going to be the right time to start your diet. It's never going to be the right time to start waking up at 4 a.m. It's never going to be the right time for any of that. You just have to commit to it and say, I'm going to do this despite.
Yeah, that's real. So I think the main thing that we're getting is to fall in love with discipline. No matter how far you go, just fall in love with the concept and allow God to bring you the blessings that's going to come with that. Because guarantee if you decide to become disciplined, nothing but good things can come out of it.
Absolutely. And if you're not as OCD and anal as I am, where you're just all in automatically, then have a little foreplay with discipline. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, right? Little baby steps with discipline. Like you could say, okay, I want to get to working out 5 days a week, but I'm starting with 2, and stick to it. But the discipline aspect isn't. People look at it, well, I'm never going to get here. And it's like, well, yeah, you're never going to get there because you didn't even start here.
Right.
So just start here and give yourself a goal that's sustainable. If it's 2 days a week at the gym, cool. If it's 1 day a week, cool.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And have the discipline to commit to that no matter what. If your girlfriend say, hey, let's go out for drinks, and Tuesday is the day you committed to, then Tuesday is the day you committed to, and you can't have drinks with them. That's discipline.
Right.
And you're not sacrificing every part of your life or every day or every hour. It's just, that's that 1 hour for that 7 days out the week. You can't go to the gym for that 1 hour.
That's real.
That's discipline.
That's real. And to your point, I would say, that you're entering the realm of discipline when you get over the FOMO phase. And what I mean by that is fear of missing out. When you see other people eating bad and having drinks, and maybe there's some of your vices, and you say, that's okay, I don't want that anymore, and you don't feel bad, you don't feel like you missed out, or, I should have been able to have it, it's not fair. Once you get over that part and you realize, like, no, I'm on a different journey, I'm ready for better, I'm ready for bigger blessings, you are now entering the realm of discipline. Because you're realizing, like, I'm not missing out. I'm actually not missing out because I'm on my path now, and that requires sacrifice. And I think a lot of people feel like they should be able to be on their path and still have all of the things that were not a part of their path at the same time. It's like, no.
Because you can. If you were disciplined before.
If you were disciplined before.
When we done filming this, we go to Joey's. I'm going to get a butter cake. Sanjay, our guy in the back, he's starving right now because we out here filming episodes. But like, I've been so disciplined that I can go eat the butter cake and the wings, get them KFC style. If you go to Joey's in Woodland Hills, KFC style only. Shout out to Jeff Pierre. He taught me that one. I can't even take credit. But like, I can go do that tonight. Because I know that I can do that tonight. But you know what I'm doing tomorrow?
Back at it.
I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm back in the gym and I'm back at it.
That's real. You can build that equity. That's another thing, guys. Lastly, we'll say with this. You can build your equity through discipline, where if you're disciplined enough, we're still human, right? Yes, you can go and say, no, today I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But even with that, even when I make these decisions, or we make these decisions, we know there's an accountability structure around it. So there's a fence around that. It's not like, oh, just do it unlimited. And one day you would just get back to what you was like, no, there's some limitations around that so that we can protect the discipline that we've created. So that would be my best advice for you guys. I want you guys to ask yourself 2 questions. Where am I leaking power by giving into temptation? And number 2 is, what restraints can I practice so that I can get more in touch with my purpose? Be honest with yourself. It's going to give yourself an option and a chance and a choice to step into your discipline so you can get closer to your goals and your purpose.
Absolutely. It's about identifying your deficiencies. Do you have a problem with food? Do you have a problem with sex? Do you have a problem with being in your phone too often, or the inability to not clap back on something that really doesn't warrant you clapping back on? It's like, figure out what those deficiencies are so you can control them. Ultimately, that's true discipline, right?
That's real. Yeah. And discipline is not to, 100% hold you back from your pleasures. It's about delaying some of the vices and things that doesn't really serve your higher self. It's about paying more attention to who you want to be and who you're becoming, more than just taking a short-term temptation that really doesn't serve you.
And to piggyback off that, I think when you live like that, people feel it, right? You don't have to like shout out from the rooftops, hey, I'm disciplined and I'm going to the gym. It's like people feel it. Like, there's some religious people that don't like the words vibrations and frequencies, but it's science, like they exist, right? And I think when you're on a similar frequency to someone, or they see the light in you, they feel it. They know, they're like, that person's glowing. Like, I went in the gym today and I didn't feel like great because I'd been home and I hadn't worked out in 3 weeks, and this girl, my boy's girlfriend, saw me. She was like, hey, you're glowing today. Like, you really look like you're killing it. You look happy, like different. And I was like, I do? Because I didn't feel my best. And she was like, yeah. And I told her, I went home and we chatted for a second. And I was like, damn, that's cool. Like, she felt the vibration, the energy, like me just walking in. She could feel it, literally. Right. And that's a cool thing. Like, I have a friend, one quick story, guys, and I'll let you go. I have a friend that, like, we're musical soulmates.
Okay.
We are we are on the same vibration, the same frequency. She could send me a song, whether it's country, rap, whatever, emo, like I'm gonna love it, and vice versa. We have never sent each other a song that we didn't absolutely love, and that's because we're on the same frequency. So I think to wrap it back up, like when your discipline is doing what it's supposed to do for you, you don't have to speak. And I think that's the reason a lot of people don't want to commit to discipline, is because they're like, well, who's gonna really know I'm putting in this work? If I don't say, hey, I'm putting in the work, and they need the validation, it's like, nah, the discipline is the validation. Yeah. Because you should be doing it for you, and if you're not doing it for you, it's not sustainable anyway. You're not the discipline's not gonna be long lasting because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So like, do it for yourself, and then you'll be able to sustain the discipline, and you will live a better life ultimately, and you'll be happier, and you'll be fulfilled, and all the things that come with that.
Absolutely. Discipline is quiet, but it's loud on the inside.
Ooh, it's so quiet.
Yeah,
it's so loud.
Your inner being will like you. And I think that's the essence of self-love, is the discipline of following through on what your inner being wants from you.
Yep.
But yeah, man, if you guys resonate with this episode, please hit the like, subscribe, share, drop a comment for some feedback. We really hope this feeds your soul. We love you. Secrets to Sexy. Have a good one.
Peace.